All right, so here we got a post. Anyone else hate it when people think you're dumb when it's actually anxiety? So this is super common, and the fix isn't that complicated. It's not necessarily easy, but it's not complicated. And I'll explain everything here. First, let me just say who I am. My name is Adam Biek. I am a therapist. I cover New York State and New Jersey. And that's it. So let's just jump into it. So this person writes, for instance, I have a new job and it's in construction. There are a lot of new people there that I don't know. There's a lot of new situations. It's pretty stressful, and I don't know what I'm doing half the time because I'm an apprentice. Understandable. You're new at the job. You're also, these people are new. And I think, I'm going to guess that the main issue here are the people, because I think this is more common with social anxiety than it is. I mean, anxiety and social anxiety, there's a lot of overlap. But I think when we're struggling with social anxiety in particular, that's when this thing can crop up, and we end up feeling stupid in a lot of situations. Um, so this person writes, when I'm in these situations, it's like my brain doesn't function. I know exactly what he's talking about. It doesn't think logically at all because it's stressful. It just doesn't work. Yeah, you can't remember what the person who just said. You can't retain what they just said. Well, I just said that. You can't remember. You can't remember what they just said. You can't think of a response. It's as though, yeah, you're stuck. Your brain is just stuck. And in some sense, you are stuck. I'll explain why this is happening. It's actually very obvious when you think about it. He continues, my boss was telling me very important information the other day and added a joke in the middle of it. Although because I knew I had to listen and take the information, I didn't catch the joke. Yeah, I'm familiar with that situation. I know exactly what you're talking about. Because I didn't catch it, there was a few people who were laughing at me and me not getting it, thinking I was thick. Yeah, I get it. I've been in that situation too. So he says, anyone else feel like this? Yeah, it's super common. There's only 1.6 thousand people already upvoted this, so this is a super common phenomenon. All right, so hey, let's just scroll down. Look, yes, holy shit, yes. Oh yeah, I got the same. Yes, same. This guy's got the solution. Firewing X. He's correct. I'm gonna break down basically what he's saying. So here's a little preview of what to do. He says, don't pay any attention to them. In essence, that's kind of like what we got to do. If so, his approach is he says, I live with an anxiety disorder and I've stopped trying to hide it. Stop trying to hide it. This is the key because if others don't like it, they can bleep off. You're not dumb. They are. Have a wonderful Sunday. Okay, I don't necessarily think you need to like switch it around and be like, oh, they're stupid. You don't have to do that. But the idea, the spirit behind what he says, yeah, he figured it out. He found a loophole. His loophole, I guess, is turning anger on them, getting frustrated. Which actually, anger and anxiety has a very fascinating relationship. It's useful against anxiety, but that's a whole different topic. So if you got panic disorder, go check my other videos, and you'll see me talk about using anger to deal with the problem. Anyways, let's back. Let me get myself back on point. Um, and let's get into the solution. So I already mentioned that this is very common. Let me explain why this is happening. So this is happening because when you're anxious, and what is anxiety? Anxiety is fear. Why? What does fear respond to? Fear responds to threats. So when you're anxious, when you're very anxious, you're processing threats. Your brain is processing threats. Think of it like a computer, like locking in on things. And in social anxiety or in socially anxious situations or very new situations, there's threats, potential threats everywhere. That's why you feel so anxious. At least they're not really threats, but I'm speaking as though I was treating what's happening in my mind or what's happening in your mind as real stuff, right? But in most cases, most socially anxious situations, there's not actual threats there, right? But we think there are. So what our brain is seeing is like that, like if you were to imagine like a cyborg, just like locking in on like 100 different little dots, like everywhere, So you're so busy, your brain is so busy processing all of this, and also internal threats. There's also internal threats. So not only external threats, like what are they saying? What are they thinking of me? There's also internal threats. What I'm about to say going to come off stupid? Is this the right response? Is my tone of voice correct? Are my facial expressions appropriate? Oh my God, did I wear my pants backwards today? You know, it's like you're scanning every single place, so outside for threats, and you're scanning inwards for threats. So that leaves very little room for critical thinking. Very little room. You're so busy doing all that. You're basically all of your computer RAM is stuffed with all these other programs that are, if you're into computers, if you hit Control Alt Delete, you can see if your computer is being clogged up by like too much software running, and if it is, then no new software can run, right? It's the same idea here. The other issue here is that this problem can be self-feeding. So what I mean by that is when and if you become, or if and when you become self-conscious about the fact that, like, oh my God, the people are thinking I'm stupid. Now you have a new threat to lock onto. Now you're worried about, oh my God, they think I'm stupid. I'm not responding fast enough. And instead of focusing on responding, you're focusing on reiterating this whole narrative. Oh my God, I'm not able to respond. Oh my God, I'm not responding. Oh my God, I'm not responding. Right? You see, you're focused. You were just playing the same tape. Instead, just take that tape out, throw it out, put in a new tape. Okay, what are they saying? Tape. Actually, maybe it's not even a tape. Get rid of any tapes because you got to respond live, right? You got to focus on the live thing. So now let's get into the fix. Okay, so I got to prepare you for the fix. I got to give you a heads up. The fix might make you feel dumber, okay? Because I'm basically going to be asking you to do things that kind of like forcing your way through this problem. A very practical approach. I'm going to be asking you to be very practical about it. And by being practical, you might feel like you're announcing to the world that you're confirming to the world that you are not understanding what's happening, right? But you need to do this. You absolutely have to do this because, like I said, I just previously said, this problem is self-feeding. As long as you are terrified of it, as long as you are worried about it, it's going to stay there and it's going to keep on distracting you. So what we got to do is we got to get rid of your concern about, just like that guy said in the comment section, you got to not care about it. A lot of anxiety actually is just you shooting yourself in your own foot. A lot of anxiety is just about learning how not to care about it. If you see, I have one hot video on this channel. Yeah, real super hot video. I'm so proud of that one video. Everything else is dead, but that one video is doing really well. And it's about when people feel chest tightness. And the solution to it is exactly what I'm saying right now. It's about learning how not to care about it. So there's different little tricks you can play with yourself. You can play with yourself. There's little tricks you can do to to help you not care about it, right? And that's essentially what we're going to be doing here. The byproduct of what I'm going to tell you, though, is going to be that it might make you feel a little dumber. So just be prepared. That's what you got to do. It's not as bad as you think. You can tolerate it. And here's what I'm going to say. This won't be an overnight fix, okay? So that's something else you got to keep in mind. I started jumping ahead, so let me backtrack a little bit. This won't be an overnight fix. You're going to have to accept that people will continue to see you as slow or dumb or whatever, cast their judgment as they please while you work on your social anxiety. Now, here's the good news. People have perceived you that way before, right? So, I'm not saying, actually, let me backtrack, because not everybody perceives you that way. Sure, some people do. Some people are more judgmental than others, but not everybody perceives you that way. But there probably were people that perceived you that way, and they perceived you that way yesterday, and you lived, you survived it. So I'm gonna ask you to do things that might make it more obvious or more confirm to them that yes, you weren't getting it, but they already were thinking it anyway yesterday, right? So what's the big deal? Like, they're gonna still think it tomorrow. But the great thing is that a couple of weeks from now, they'll be like, what the hell happened? This guy is sharp as a tack, right? If you keep doing this. All right, so I think now I prepared you. Won't be an overnight fix, and it might make you feel a little stupider, el stupido. Um, Let me see. Where was I? Da 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 da. Okay, so I think I covered. Sorry, I have a little bit of notes here, and I am just making sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, so first solution. I did bad notes. Second solution. That's not the first solution. First solution, slow down. That's the first thing you're gonna have to do. So meticulously, purposefully, consciously slow your roll. I actually have to remind myself to do that while I record these videos. Right now, I'm demonstrating this live to you. I'm consciously slowing myself down. What I'm doing, or how I'm doing this, is I'm telling my mouth, wait. It's okay to just look and wait. Wait for my brain to catch up. Wait for my brain to process everything that I really want to say. Let the exact words that I want to use come to me. It's kind of similar to when you're writing a paper. You don't necessarily write the very first thing that comes to your mind. You wait for that sentence to start. Book, 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 book. I'm very visual, so I start seeing the letters, the words just popping up in my brain. You wait for those words to show up in your mind, right? Same thing here. Slow down. They already think you're slow. Okay, so who cares? Be now, instead of, I got to mention this to you. There is something called a theory of change. It's called the paradoxical theory of change. Everything here that we're dealing with is a paradox. So, in case you don't know what a paradox is when you do one thing, but the opposite happens. Like, imagine you are trying really hard to be a poor. You're trying to be poor. You're trying to be broke. But no matter what you do, the more money you spend just trying to waste money, you get more money. You waste money, you waste money, but money just keeps on coming at you. You become richer and richer. That'll be a paradox, right? Here is a paradox too. You feel slow, so you're trying to be faster, you're trying to be sharper, you're trying to seem smarter. As a result, you're actually appearing incoherent. You're appearing dumb. And if you look at my videos, you're gonna see the same thing. Be a little judgmental on me. Feel free to do that. You're gonna. I'm a little embarrassed, but feel free to look through them. I see that. I see that, and I'm sure other people see it too. This is not unusual. This is, if you ever take a public speaking course, you'll see that everybody struggles with this. Unless they were born a public speaker, everybody struggles with appearing uneducated, not knowing what they're saying, not knowing, just not knowing, like they're dumb. And it has nothing to do with them being dumb. It has everything to do with them actually, that push pull thing, that they're pushing too hard, so much so that it's actually dragging them down. It's a paradox. So by slowing down, you're actually solving the problem. You're gonna be doing the opposite of your impulse. Your impulse to speed up, you're actually gonna slow down. Oh, there was something else, man. There's actually they adopted this in the military. There was a, what was the, what was the trope? There's a military trope. It's something about something about slow and steady. That soldiers are to move slow. Oh no, the saying is slow is fast. That's what the saying is. I don't know where I picked this up. It was something related to the military. Slow is fast, right? Because it allows you to be deliberate in your actions. Whereas if you try to rush without waiting for the next plan, the deliberate action to come to your mind, you end up being hectic. You're gonna end up being all over the place. So slow is actually fast. So adopt that. Okay. Next, I'm gonna ask you to ask people to repeat things. Okay. The reason why I want you to do that is because I want you to move, I want you to face your fear. You feel dumb. And I want you to face your fear, but I also want you to solve that problem, right? So if you feel dumb, you missed something, ask them, what did you say? Like in this guy's example, he said he missed a joke. Okay, ask him. Well, I see that there was a joke, but I didn't get it. Can you say? I know it's kind of sucks to it kind of ruins the joke when you have to explain it, but I'm just curious. And let him repeat it. You know, face it. This way, you're being very upfront. You're being real with yourself, and you no longer feel like you're missing anything. So you're actually addressing some aspect of your anxieties. Because I bet that a part of your anxiety is also about I don't understand what's happening in my environment because I'm so preoccupied with my anxiety. And not knowing causes us anxiety. Actually, dealing with the unknown is one of the biggest human fears. Like, I mean, people have been theorizing what happens after death for since humanity was born. I mean, pretty much, and because we're bothered when we don't know. So solve that problem. You actually, by slowing down and by asking for people to repeat things, you're actually solving a part of your anxiety. And more importantly, you're starting to learn by doing this over and over again. You're starting to learn that there isn't really anything to fear. Like, all right, they might think I'm stupid, they might think I'm slow, but whatever. Like, at least I understand everything. And over time, as you care less and less about what other people think, you're going to start being faster. You're going to start being more meticulous. You're going to start be less slowed down, bogged down by this anxiety. And then the last thing I want to ask you to do is to ask questions. It's pretty similar. Wait, what was the first one? Did I say ask people to repeat things? Yeah, I ask people to repeat things. So ask for people to. Sorry, I'm getting confused on my own notes here. Very bad notes here. But trust me, this is good solutions. Okay. Ask for people to repeat things was one thing, and the other thing is ask for clarification. If you're not sure what they said, ask for them to clarify. But it sounds like very similar to the first one I just said, but slightly different. So the last thing I'm going to tell you is that once you're able to slow everything down and you feel comfortable asking people to repeat themselves and you feel comfortable asking people for clarifications and you don't really have too many qualms about it. You just kind of have resigned yourself to like, well, they're going to think I'm stupid because I keep asking them for clarifications and asking them to repeat them. They might think I'm deaf because I keep asking them to repeat themselves. Once you kind of resign yourself, you're going to notice that social anxiety starts falling away. It's just getting smaller, 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 smaller. I don't know. It's hard for me to predict how long it's going to take. I'm going to say if you start doing all of this, like literally all of this, you start slowing down, you ask people to repeat themselves, and you ask follow-up questions to get clarification. I'm going to say if you do this on a daily basis, throughout your day, every single day, starting tomorrow, I think in a month, you're going to start noticing you're feeling more at ease. And you just continue doing this. After that month, you're going to start seeing that you're picking things up faster. Like, because that fear is no longer there. It's no longer there clogging up your brain, you know? So, I hope you found this useful. And good luck pulling this off. I'll see you in the next video.